Chapter 11. Maintaining Positivity. Overcome Obstacles. Focus on the result. If you're putting something off, then one way in which you can change your thinking is by focusing on the result. Think about how you will feel once the work is done well. Visualization is a great tool and will help reduce the anxiety that you might be feeling before getting started. A positive mentality makes it easier to get things done. Define what you want to accomplish. For instance, if you have a goal that you want to write your autobiography, then make sure that you are setting a deadline for it as well. A deadline can be a tremendous motivating factor. Precisely define the goal that you want to achieve. It is highly unlikely that you will stay motivated when the goal is vague. Make a note of the reasons. There might be different reasons for doing something. If you don't have a reason for doing something, it is meaningless. Having a reason will provide you with the necessary motivation. Understanding your reason will make the task meaningful. If you don't do it, it might or might not work for you. At times, the fear of not doing something and the disappointment that will follow can be motivating. Think about the worst possible outcome if you don't do a particular thing. It can make use of those feelings to propel you forward. Setting mini goals. You can always break down your goals into smaller goals. Doing this will help make it easier in making your goals seem more achievable. Not just that, but it will help you in measuring your progress as well. Setting and accomplishing small goals will provide you with the necessary motivation to keep going. Scheduling. Regardless of what your project is about, you must schedule some time for it. Write it on your calendar, set a reminder, and treat it like any other regular appointment. You will not be able to achieve all your goals if you don't commit to the project. If you feel like you're having some trouble sticking to the schedule, then think about all the reasons for which you are doing it. Marking your progress. Create a checklist for all the mini goals you have established for yourself. This will help in keeping track of your progress. If you feel like you are lagging somewhere, you can put in some extra effort to improve your performance and progress. Staying consistent. If you want to be consistent, then here are a couple of tips that you can follow. Make a to-do list. Making a to-do list is very helpful. Take a sheet of paper and write down all the things that you have to do to complete in a specific task. You can either do this as soon as you wake up in the morning or the previous night. So when you wake up in the morning, you will have a sense of direction and you will know what needs to be accomplished by the end of the day. Create a reward system. Always create a reward system for yourself. Regardless of whether you have completed a small or big task, you must still reward yourself for completing your work. The reward system doesn't have to be an elaborate one. Breaking up your workday. Breaks are essential, and you will need a couple of breaks while you're working. It is quite difficult to work effectively for prolonged periods of time without any breaks. A small break will make you feel refreshed, and it will improve your ability to concentrate as well. Don't indulge in any activities that will waste your time. Avoid, or at least try reducing the time you spend indulging in any addictive time-wasting activities. It can be anything. Even something as simple as playing a game on your phone can be quite addictive, or constantly checking your social media feed. These activities will not help you accomplish anything, and they just eat into your working hours. Set certain limits. You can do these things while on a break, but not while you're working. Get your work done, and you have plenty of time for all the other activities. Tackle the tough tasks first. There will always be a couple of tasks that you think are tough. It is a good idea to get these tasks out of the way as soon as you possibly can. Don't keep these tasks on hold. Once you are done with these tasks, the rest will be relatively more straightforward. Discuss your goals with someone else. When you tell someone about your goals, you will unknowingly increase your accountability. It is likely that you will finish the task you have already told someone about it. You get to decide whom you want to discuss it with. Accountability towards someone else will make you want to complete the task at hand. Kill procrastination. Figure out the reason. When you feel like you aren't in the mood to do something, this is procrastination telling you to take a break. The task at hand can be something very simple or incredibly complex. The reasons for putting off a task can be quite varied. Instead of getting frustrated with yourself and blaming procrastination, you must take a moment and evaluate the situation. Give yourself some time for figuring out the reason why you are procrastinating. This is the first step if you want to overcome procrastination, and it is crucial. Procrastinators tend to concentrate on the short-term gains instead of the long-term ones. Instead, you need to focus on the benefits of completing the task at hand. For instance, if you've put off cleaning out your closet, then imagine how good it will feel when the closet is free of all the clutter. Concentrate on the feeling, and it will get easier to get things done. Getting rid of the obstacle. Before you get started with a task, give yourself a few minutes and consider the likely obstacles that you might have to face. Then you can start devising a plan for avoiding or overcoming these obstacles. For instance, you have received an email giving certain instructions regarding the manner in which you are supposed to go about doing a particular task. You will keep going back to read the same email frequently while starting out with that task. This will lead to unnecessary distractions. Instead, you need to print these instructions beforehand. By simply planning ahead, you will be able to avoid procrastination. Just get started. At times, it might seem really difficult to get started with something. Taking the first step might be quite tough, regardless of the task at hand. Just take that first step and it gets better. When you stop focusing on all the negative things about a certain thing, you can prevent yourself from getting discouraged. When you just dive right in, you will notice a positive change in your mood, and this is quite helpful. Break it down. If something intimidates you, it is very likely that you will end up putting it on hold for as long as you can. If you can reduce this intimidation, it will be easier to work on something. The sheer size of a project can be an intimidating factor, so try and break it down into smaller parts. When you do this, the intimidation quotient will decrease. It's easier to tackle smaller tasks. The right environment. Working in the wrong environment will make way for procrastination to creep in. You certainly won't be able to get any work done if you are working in a really loud place. You have friends around, or you are constantly on your phone checking the latest social media updates. You certainly will not be able to get any work done. Your surroundings must help you work and not distract you. Rejoice in the small victories. Always enjoy your victories, regardless of how small or big they are. A sense of accomplishment will help you to keep going. This will help in developing a positive attitude towards your work and will provide you with the necessary motivation to keep going. Striking off simple things from your to-do list can be quite satisfactory. Be realistic. When you are setting goals for yourself, make sure that the goals you are setting are realistic and attainable. You will be setting yourself up for failure if you set unrealistic goals. This will increase your negative feelings and you will ultimately succumb to procrastination. Self-talk. The more you tell yourself that you aren't supposed to think about something, the more time you will spend thinking about it. This is just how the human psyche works. It becomes almost impossible to not think about it. The trick is to not let this happen. When you feel yourself leaning towards putting something off for a while, you must try and avoid it. Simply shift your attention to something else. For instance, instead of thinking that you aren't supposed to procrastinate, try thinking about how good it will feel once you have completed the task. In this manner, you will be able to take the necessary action of worrying about a certain behavior. Don't try to be a perfectionist. Perfectionism is quite a difficult mentality to function with. This all-or-nothing sort of thinking can lead to procrastination. A perfectionist will believe in only two outcomes. Either something can be perfect or it will be considered a failure. People with this tendency will wait until everything is absolutely perfect to proceed. If it isn't perfect, then it cannot be completed. This mentality can hold you back from not just starting a task, but from completing it as well. Instead of chasing perfection, focus on being better. Strive for excellence, but at the same time, your focus needs to be on completing the task.